Okay friends, to get started on our job, one of the first things we have to do is fully remove the door panel. To do that, I'm going to start up at the top. I'm going to use a plastic trim tool so I don't damage my paint. Come in between this area right here and just start separating this. Behind it, you're going to find little push tabs. I'll show you it in 1 second. There's a tab here, here, and right down there. You just go ahead and pop those right out of there. With that out of the way, let's move down along here to the push clip. Press in on the center, and then pop it right out of there. We'll set this aside. Next, we're going to move to right over here. We're going to pull out on this door handle, slide our pocket screwdriver in here, and remove this cover. That exposes a screw located right behind here. Go ahead and remove that. Back to the plastic trim tool, we're going to go ahead and pop this up. Just get right underneath it, twist it, and pop it up. Underneath that, you want to make sure that you disconnect your electrical harness here. Now on the back side, we're going to go ahead and disconnect the wiring. There's a little push tab right here. I'm just going to carefully get in between this area and gently pry on it. Then we can lift up and out the wiring. Inspect your wiring, make sure you don't see any funny colors. If you do, it's probably corrosion and it needs to be dealt with. This one looks great, so I'll set it aside. Down inside your handle, you're going to have a screw. Remove that. Now the next thing we need to do is pop the door panel off of the door. To do that, I'm going to continue on with my plastic trim tool, get in between the door panel and the door itself, and then gently pry it away. Now I'm going to lift up on this, remove it from the door. Now the next thing we want to pay attention to is our cables right along here, and of course we're going to have some wiring down along the bottom. You're going to notice that the cable that has the white attachment on it is going to be the top one, so remember that, and then the lower one will be the green. I'm just going to pop this out of here, remove it, do the same thing for this one. Okay, down along the bottom, disconnect your wiring for the light. For this, there's a little push tab. Go ahead and press on that, slide it out, remove your door panel. Okay, now with that out of the way, we have a nice clear view of our mounting points for our mirror. Before we can disconnect those though, let's go ahead and take the wiring off of it. Down on the bottom here, there's a little push tab. I'm just going to squeeze on that, remove the wiring, inspect it, and now we can remove all 3 of our mounting nuts. Remember, after you remove those, there isn't going to be anything else holding in your mirror, so you want to make sure you're holding on to that as well. Remove this from the door. There it is, friends. Now on the outside of the door, I'm going to use a fork tool like this. Just try to get underneath this tab. Pop that out of there. And we can remove this as well. Okay, so now it's going to be time to install our brand new mirror. We're going to wait on installing this little cover right here because of course we have to remove it from our original mirror. The next thing that I want to do though is move along to installing this little tab right here. To do that, I'm just going to come right underneath this area here, pull this down, we'll slide it in. Just like that. Bring this back over, line it up with all of its tabs again. Make sure the seal's sitting where it needs to be. Okay, now we can get this on the truck. So I'm just going to line this up. We'll put the studs through the holes in the door, being very careful not to scratch our paint. Go ahead and tug that so it's coming in. Install all of your mounting nuts and then snug them up. Just going to double check, make sure they're all nice and snug. You definitely don't want your mirror loose while you're driving down the road. Take your electrical connector, put it in, give it a nice tug, make sure it's secure. Now back at our original mirror, we want to continue on by removing this outer cover right here, unless of course you bought yourself a new one. If you're removing this one, the easiest way to do that is to very carefully remove the glass from the front of your mirror. Make sure you're wearing hand protection and eye protection. I'm just going to go ahead and make sure that it's like this, and then I'll give it a nice tug. The area that this is mounted essentially is just in the center right here. Pop it right off of there. Now at this point, we have a nice clear view of the inside. You're going to find some locating tabs here. There's one right there. You just kind of pull on that a little bit, move it away from the mirror. This one up here, one up there, and then another one on the side. After you pop all those free, we can go ahead and slide this off. So I'm going to start by removing the upper tabs. I'm just going to use my screwdriver, get right in here and gently pry. As soon as I have it pried, I'll use a pocket screwdriver, come up along this lip here, and start carefully separating this. Once it starts separating, I'll just move along to another tab. And then start prying it away as well. With all the tabs removed, we're going to lift this straight up. And now let's put this onto the brand new mirror. So now back over at the truck, we want to pay attention to these lower tabs right here. These are more like little hooky-doos essentially, and they need to fit inside their corresponding holes, and then we'll just roll it right in and clip in all the rest of the clips. Okay, feels like it's lined up. Bring it down, latch it in, and then just double check to make sure it's completely secure. Now it's going to be time to put our door panel back on. I'm just going to go ahead and reconnect in our light here. Now we're going to go ahead and plug in our cables here. The green one is going to go along the bottom. That one goes to your door handle. Just go ahead and slide that right in and then lock it. Now we'll do the white. This is going to be for the door lock. Slide that in as well. Make sure they're both secure. If they fall out, obviously you're going to have an issue opening and shutting your door. Okay, now we need to lift this up, and we're going to pay attention to the inside of the door panel here. Along this area, there's kind of like a little hooked area. It needs to fit over this area of the door. So we're just going to come straight up, put it up and over that, press it in, and slide it down. I'm just going to make sure it's all the way down, and now we're going to go ahead and press this in. If you look along this area here, you want to make sure that those push tabs are lining up with their holes, and once they are, just give it a loving bonk. Just going to give it a little tug, make sure it's not falling off anywhere. Now let's put in the screw for the door handle. Let's do this one now. Now let's put this cover on here. Just going to go ahead and press it in. There we are. Just make sure it's completely secured and it doesn't fall out when you open this. Now it's going to be time to reconnect this. Let's go ahead and slide it in. Make sure it's completely secured. Line it up with where it belongs. And then press it down. Now it's going to be time to put in the push clip, but first we need to reset it. So just go ahead and reach along from the back side here, press it forward so the little piton comes through. Slide it in, lock it in. Let's get this trim piece on there as well. Make sure you line up all your little pitons with their corresponding mounting spots. Now it's going to be time to test the mirror. Go ahead and switch the switch to left, and then function the mirror, make sure it works the way that it should. Perfect.